P1, the highly refined kerosene, also known as rocket fuel, used to power this first stage, along with its oxidizer liquid oxygen.
Launch team, at this time I'd like to poll for final FTS power on and arm command test. Safety?
Safety is go.
FSO?
FSO is go.
Ops 1?
Ops 1 is go.
Elect 1?
Elect 1 is go.
FTS?
FTS is go.
Launch team is go for final FTS power and arm command test.
Wow, the Antares sure looks beautiful.
So a great shot of Antares on the pad there now as we continue to march towards our liftoff, now 22 minutes away from ignition of that first stage.
FSO LC countdown.
Meanwhile, the Expedition 40 crew flying overhead. The station itself will be 260 statute miles just over northwest Australia at the time of launch. If you look at the ground track here, in about 20 minutes it'll be on that bottom line there, just over northwest Australia. Cygnus will then race after it for about 2 days before catching up on Wednesday, at which point it'll be grappled by Expedition 40 Commander Steve Swanson, with Alexander Gerst backing him up inside of the station's cupola.
Okay.
Wallop, CT site on, tone 4 radiating.
Copy FSO, we'll check step 348 at this time.
So as talked about a little bit earlier, one of the primary needs for these resupply crafts are to constantly fly new scientific research to the crews on board the International Space Station. Some of the highlights found on Cygnus today include a new flock of microsatellites from Planet Labs. They flew back on the Orbital 1 mission in January, launching an initial fleet of 28 CubeSats, individually known as Dove satellites, that were jettisoned out from the International Space Station. They use this collective of small, relatively inexpensive satellites, and they will be joined by 28 additional Dove satellites known as Flock 1B, flying today on Orb 2.
You go to apply external power to the FTSA and FTSB.
FTSA.
As they're deployed, the two flocks work in unison to capture imagery of the entire planet on a much more frequent basis than is currently available. These images, like many Earth observation tasks from the International Space Station itself, can be used to help identify and track natural disasters. The station getting a lot of fantastic hurricane imagery with the storms over the last 2 weeks, and also help coordinate responses to those, as well as improving environmental and agricultural monitoring and management.
Roger that. We'll check step 351.
Another satellite technology demonstration flying on Orb 2 today, known as Tech EdSat 4, part of a large ongoing study known as the Small Payload Quick Return System, trying to come up with a new means of returning small payloads in a temperature and pressure controlled environment from the station. Currently, the SpaceX Dragon, the only large-scale way to return samples from the International Space Station. Tech EdSat 4 will be deploying from the Japanese experiment module. Primary objectives to develop a drag device, also known as an exobrake, which will help slow the vehicle and send it through the Earth's atmosphere safely. Engineers hoping to use those exobrakes to eventually enable small sample return from the station or other orbital platforms to Earth. Also potentially could be used in the not too distant future for landing small payloads on the Martian surface.
Then remove, continue tone 4 when function removed.
Arm on my mark, 3, 2, 1, mark, +1, +2, arm removed, tone 4 continued.
FTS, verify FTS arm indication telemetry.
LC, FTS arm indication verified.
FSO, verify FTS arm indication.
FTS arm indication.
FTS, verify FTS currently indicates safe and receiving tone 4, and verify FTS SNA and FTLU status indicates safe.
FTS safe.
FTS standing for the Flight Termination System, one of the safeguards for today's launch.
And FTS status on SNAs and FTLU.
LC, this is FTS, FTS safe.
And FTS step 358 looking for status on the SNAs and the FTLU.
LC, this is FTS. Do you copy?
FTS, LC, countdown 1.
FTS, this is LC. Do you copy?
Yeah, I've got you loud and clear. How me?
Sorry, I'm having some comm problems over here. I hear you loud and clear.
And FTS looking for confirmations at 357 and 358.
FTS safe. FTS safe and arm and FTLU safe.
Copy that, FTS. We'll check step 358 complete. GNC 1, LC, step 359, provide status of upper level winds.
LC GNC 1, upper level winds are green.
Copy that, GNC 1, check 359.
The team at the Wallops Range Control Center continuing to check through their milestones, heading towards that launch at 11:52 a.m. Central. Currently 16 minutes away. The weather continuing to look good out at the Wallops Flight Facility, thankfully. A couple of storms, as you heard earlier, impacting the rollout earlier this week, but definitely cooperating over the weekend to finish preparing the rocket, and everything looking good. A 90% chance of favorable weather for launch today. Just a few minutes now from the expected time for the poll for the final countdown. So as mentioned in the beginning of the show, it'll be about a 10-minute climb to orbit. The first stage firing for the first 4 minutes before shutting down and separating that liquid first stage, powering Cygnus to its initial altitude of 70 miles. Then the fairings will separate before the second stage is ready to ignite.
CMDLC.
That solid
step 360.
solid rocket motor second stage will deliver Cygnus into its initial orbit of about 159 or 160 statute miles before Cygnus will separate from it, deploy its solar arrays, test its reaction jets real quickly, and then be on its way for its 2-day journey towards the International Space Station. All of that today should take about 10 minutes. So fairly quick climb to orbit for the resupply craft.
And launch team LC on countdown 1. Be advised, poll for final countdown and MES medium flow will occur at T-minus 12 minutes. Check step 361.
And just now you hear the call coming for that poll for final countdown coming at T-minus 12 minutes. Right now we're about 13 minutes and 40 seconds away from launch.
This is CMD on countdown 1.
Go ahead, CMD.
Cygnus is on internal power and nominal.
Roger that, CMD. We'll check 360 complete.
Getting the confirmation Cygnus has been switched to internal power.